Today on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, we got our Week 3 picks and some weird noise in the background. It's time for Garbage Time. Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Ron Seymour, joined today by Joe, JJ, and Ryan. How you doing today, boys?
Nice you can make a show, Ron.
Oh, shut up. Like you've never missed a show.
I miss less than you.
Some of us have to work.
You saying I don't work?
No, I'm just saying I work.
We're doing well. This is actually the first time since I logged in that I looked up at the StreamYard screen and I realized that Ron now has a goatee. So I'm just kind of taking in the screen.
He's looking a little cleaned up.
I'm clean shaven. I don't look like a homeless person anymore. So
he took a nice little vacation from the podcast, so he's well rested.
Yeah, he's well rested, and he's trying to change the look of his Giants by shaving that beard.
Came back a whole new person.
I'm never well rested, guys.
Ain't that right, Mr. President?
That's my secret. I'm always tired.
President Seymour.
Oh, here we go. On today's show, we got the news. We're going to discuss a few of the games coming up this weekend. We got our lightning round DFS, Defensive Dominator, and we'll discuss our records for game picks and our DFS contest we have going.
Here's a hint. I'm doing shitty.
Like always, just like his awesome draft in the Dynasty League. And with that, we'll get to the news.
News updates.
It's so awesome that I do this news segment because then I get to also talk about things going on in the league. Like, Ron, what's your record in our league record?
That is confidential information.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint. The number's on the right side of that bar, though, so I'm doing better in that league than you are. So
let's just say I'm not doing the worst.
No, but you're damn close to it. Anyway, let's get into the news tonight. We actually have to talk about some fantasy football because we're on to week 3 and we'll have some winning records this week. So Antonio Brown tested positive for COVID and is currently going through the testing protocols and is very unlikely to actually play this weekend. What are your thoughts on this weekend, guys?
He is out. He won't be playing.
How would you adjust?
That's a tough one because he was already only a flex play or maybe wide receiver 3 if you're sporting the 3 wide receivers. There's a lot of potential names out there that could have good weeks that you could substitute him in for. Hopefully your depth at running or wide receiver doesn't stop at Antonio Brown because that's not great.
Maybe a KJ Osborne, Rondell Moore, or Cephus?
Cephus, I like. I like Cephus. Darnell Mooney could be good. I'm not sold on KJ Osborne yet because there is still Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and Adam Thielen. I do think he is going to be Adam Thielen's replacement. I wouldn't be shocked if after this year Thielen will be off of that roster. They got really lucky if this KJ Osborne actually shows out this year, that they were able to get rid of Stephon Diggs and bring in Justin Jefferson. And if this KJ Osborne works out, swap him right in for Thielen and instantly get younger with 2 good wide receivers.
You paused because you wanted to say Hamler so bad.
Did I?
Oh, you were so close.
No, KJ Hamler's garbage.
I promise you Thielen will be on the roster next year.
Yeah?
He pulled up his contract. He carries $11 million in dead money, so there's no way they're gonna.
I mean, if they trade him and have someone pay that, that's always possible.
That's true. On our next little bit of news too. So Henderson didn't practice Wednesday. Questionable for this weekend. Do you guys think there's any chance that Sony Michel gets the majority of the work in this game?
It doesn't matter. They're going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you can pivot off of either one of these guys, I would.
It's an interesting thought, but I also think that Sony Michel is going to be motivated because I was telling you it is going to be a revenge game, and typically guys get up for revenge games. So I
It
think
is
they're
not a revenge game. We already went over
be
this.
a revenge game in the sense that he's playing Tom Brady, he's seeing his buddy.
That's not a
I don't think you
game.
understand the
It is a
revenge game
game.
narrative.
Yes, I understand. Old team against new team. It's not his new team, but he's seeing his old buddy Tom Brady. He's going to be motivated.
Why would it be revenge?
They're on
Yeah,
different teams.
I always love getting revenge against my old buddies.
That's right. Get one over on them, just like we're getting one over you on the league. All right, moving on to a nice little bit of news, too. Carson Wentz is expected to play with his 2 twisted ankles.
Wait,
What
what?
are your guys' Yes, he is. They said they are preparing to play him this weekend, even though in practice today he was not on the field. But they're moving forward as if he's going to play.
Do they not?
That's sketchy.
Do they
It
not
is.
know it's only? Do they not know it's only week 3?
Yeah, it's sketchy, but are you guys thinking it's coach talk?
I don't know. I saw that Brett Hundley was like getting reps with the ones in practice. So
That is a little bit interesting. I didn't see that bit of it. But I would try to pivot off Carson Wentz anyway because he's been kind of average for fantasy, and he is glass, which we need the noise effect for. We'll get to that later, I guess. Right, Ron?
I'm working on it right at the moment. Shit's happening as I speak.
He's moving it around. We'll get that drop for you guys. We promise it'll actually be ready. Yeah, nope, screw it. Too late. On to the next bit of news. All right, so Delvin Cook also didn't practice. No, it didn't. We're moving on. Delvin Cook didn't practice Wednesday, and his status should be okay. But I would definitely handcuff Madison if he's still available in your leagues. He's not available in many, but if you haven't yet, it is getting close to too late. He is injury prone over his past, as JJ has pointed out. He's got bones popping out of places, so just be prepared for him to potentially miss a game or two this year because I do think it'll happen.
100%.
Who was that? I wasn't paying attention. I was trying.
Delvin Cook.
Oh yeah, running backs always miss games.
Yeah, and I think Cook is going to miss one here pretty soon. He seems to be running down a little bit. Might need a little bit of revamping before he's ready to go for the rest of the season. I do think he's in for a good year, though. Next on the list, too, Jameson Crowder remains out of practice with a groin injury. I don't think he's going to be effective for another week. I don't think he's going to be getting back in here for a few weeks. They want to get the rookie rep there on the side. Keelan Cole's still there in the slot, and they have other wide receivers that are going to do work. So I don't think you'll see him for a few more weeks, too. A.J. Brown was also limited in practice with a knee ailment. Interestingly, and I'll bring this up later when we talk about DFS in the games too, DeAndre Hopkins was not practicing with a rib injury, which could hamper him this weekend and give opportunity to a lot of other wide receivers on that team, and that team is deep at those positions. Do you guys have any overlaying thoughts with that?
Well, that's the first time I heard that, so I looked to see who they were playing if I needed to change my pick, but I don't. I don't need to change it. No.
Well, go in depth, dude. Why?
Because they're playing the Jaguars. That's all the depth you need.
Yeah, it could be a big Rondale Moore game, though. Could get some more time on the field.
I agree with that, and I've actually got him in my DFS lineup for that
I
reason.
wouldn't be surprised if they, put him on a snap count because, I know you don't like to overlook opponents, but I would assume they're going to get out to a pretty heavy lead pretty quickly and then let Rondale Moore take over the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Ryan, besides being a pretty face over there, you got any thoughts on this?
No, you guys covered it pretty good. I didn't know about the Hopkins injury, but it's definitely something you'd want to keep an eye on. I'm pretty sure Rondale Moore was getting more targets than he was already. So yeah, it should definitely be a big game for him.
I definitely think he's hitting the fantasy hype train, so he may be a highly targeted player, especially on DFS because he's a very cheap option too. I'm definitely jumping on the hype train. He's going to be in my lineup for this week. So yeah, big dibs to Rondale Moore this week, and I hope DeAndre Hopkins is healthy because he's fun to watch on the field. Next bit of news too: Josh Jacobs remains sidelined, and Kenyan Drake got 71% of the snaps and targets last week, which is going to be interesting. And this is actually a revenge game. He's going up against the Cardinals, so going to be very motivated in this game. So Kenyan Drake could be a good option if he's actually the number one in this game.
Kenyon Drake is not going up against the Cardinals.
Dolphins. Sorry. Dolphins, which is actually a former team. I'm mixing everything up tonight. At least I know he played for the team he's going against. Damn it. He's playing the Dolphins, guys.
All right. Keep going.
That's all we got for that news. You boys have any other stories?
Two
Go
more.
ahead. What do you got for us,
Looks like OBJ is going to make his season debut against the Bears this week. They said as long as there's no setbacks, it was an ACL, so I don't assume there's going to be any setbacks. So they're not going to have Jarvis Landry, and Baker Mayfield's pretty banged up. So they're going to roll OBJ out there this week conveniently. So I don't know how that's going to go. He's going to have a PFF's top-graded cornerback of the season on him. So
I'm feeling a 3 or 4 catch game for 40 yards. I think that's what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to be over the top. They're going to use that running game instead.
Going to try. And last piece of news that I had, I just read that it looks like T. Higgins is not going to play. It sounds like the beat writers are saying he's trending towards not suiting up on Sunday. So could be a big Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd game. So
yeah, I think that a lot more of that work will more go to Boyd as opposed to Chase. I think that kind of takes away from the opposite end of the spectrum. I think Chase would get his work anyway, regardless of who was on the field, because I think he's establishing himself as the clear number one there. Higgins gets his work, but that work I think will go to the opposite side of the field. And I think with that, Ron, we are through our news. So what should we do next, games or DFS?
I'll do games. Get those on done and out of the way here.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
So abrupt.
I know. It's just like, we're done.
All right, so let's talk about
better than Joe's agonizing scream cutscene there.
That's staying the way it is. Sorry, unless you guys edit extra videos. I love the way that drops. It reminds me of the guy that just did horrible during the week throwing up his paper. So that's what I do after every week so far. So that's what we're staying with. So anyway, first game we're going to discuss here is Chargers and Chiefs. So Ron, get us started off.
What the fuck is Ryan doing? Does he not realize he's podcasting right now? Hi,
he's doing his own thing. He's vibing on his own.
Hi, welcome back.
Casey's not in the room. He's looking for him. He's lost.
I know, he doesn't know what's going on.
He's looking for Casey's stomach is what he's doing.
There needs to be one more person in this room. What is happening?
I had to let the dogs out and let them back in.
All right, the first game we'll cover is the Chargers at the Chiefs. I'm pretty sure we all picked Kansas City for this game. Sure did.
I did. Yeah. So what are your fantasy relevant players for this game and who's going to be the most impressive, Ron?
It's Patrick Mahomes. It's always Patrick Mahomes. He's always impressive. Even when he's losing and not playing well, he's always impressive with the stupid shit he does on the field.
And which one of his receivers will be the best on the field for that game?
It's going to be Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. There's not much to break down for the Chiefs. Like, it's getting to the point where I wouldn't even recommend starting CEH most of the time. Like, it's Pat Mahomes.
Start him never.
He looked ugly as hell on this season so far.
Did you guys see that Travis Kelce touchdown run?
I did.
It was every single fantasy point there should have went to Travis Kelce. None to Patrick Mahomes.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't we have someone on the show that said he's going to be breaking down soon?
I believe I said he's getting up there in age and it could happen at any point.
I didn't say he's going to break down soon. I just said
I was going to say we had two specifically going that direction.
I said I just have a weird gut instinct that he's going to get hurt this season. So that still could happen.
Yeah, and I just said that
early.
It could happen at any given point. Like, he's getting to the age where it could start to happen.
But currently he's still a big fucking Mack truck, so keep rolling.
And he can't be tackled, apparently.
All right, what about the other side of the field? Who's going to get more work this week? Mike Williams or Keenan Allen?
I think it's going to be about the same as it has been, with both of them being okay to start for fantasy. Like, neither one of them are really giving you that, great week-winning game, but neither one of them are killing you either. And I think it's going to be more of the same.
Yeah, Mike Williams is doing great this year. He's ranked number 5 for wide receivers this season. I mean, it's early, but people that drafted him got to be excited about it.
And let me say this about Jared Cook. I also brought it up in one of our shorts too. I'm playing him as a potential pickup for this week, and I did last week too. Last week he didn't score a lot, but he got a lot of targets, and he dropped one in the end zone early. If he would have gotten that in that game last week, he would have been a top 10 tight end, and I think he has a potential to be a top 10 tight end again this week too, because the targets are coming his way. They want to get it in the end zone, and they're going to need to throw to other targets because they're going to look to cover them receivers. It's going to be high scoring volume like I predicted for the Cowboys and Chargers last week, which didn't happen. This would be another version where you would get that kind of game. So, throw them in there if you're hurting at tight end like I am every single damn week. I think it could be a good start for you.
It should have been high scoring. And people are like panicking on Justin Herbert, but he had touchdowns taken away from him because all the damn penalties. So
yeah, no, he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chargers should have had that game.
There's no reason I don't think that they couldn't win this game either, though. I mean, they have a high-powered offense. They're going to be in this game, I believe, right up until the end, too.
I was close. No. I was close to picking the Chargers. No, I was this close. I was looking at it, and I'm like, this just feels like one of those games. But then I remembered Mahomes lost last week, and I just don't believe that's going to happen twice in a row.
I bet you they're going to give him. I think they're going to give him a run for their money, though. I really do.
I do think it's going to be a really good game.
I think it'll be right up to the last drive, too. And as for fantasy points on every end, too, do not play any of these defenses this week. They're going to get absolutely effing torched. Running game for the Chiefs, I think, not going to happen there. The Chargers, I like Eckler. Eckler's going to get his passing work this week, too. Hopefully they don't go to the week one mantra. I don't believe they will. I think overall for fantasy, this is a pretty good, solid game. Nothing insane, but you'll get your points here.
If the Chiefs could just involve CEH in the passing game,
but they won't.
Instead of running around for 30 minutes, Patrick Mahomes, just dump it down to CEH.
Yeah,
you don't have to run that much, man.
Take the Cordell Patterson approach the Falcons are using.
Yeah, it's working okay for Cordell Patterson.
It is.
Not so much the Falcons, but.
Is there any other thoughts on this game?
No, I'm good. We will move on. We got the Dolphins at the Raiders. I picked the Raiders for this one. I believe we all did that also. Yep.
I'm on the Raiders bandwagon for this one. Let's go,
Which
John
means
Gruden.
They're probably going to lose to Brissett and the Dolphins, which is ridiculous.
This does feel like a trap game a little bit, though, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, every year in the Gruden era, there's like a high point where it's like, oh man, you know what? Gruden's got him playing good, and then they'll lose to a piece of shit team, and
it's like
and then lose 4 in a row.
They always play to the
level of the competition
they're given. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Good way of putting it.
But this defense.
Mm-hmm.
This defense looks real solid. They've got a very good pass rush right now.
They do have a good pass rush, but that's another reason why I told you if Jacobs is out, I think Kenyan Drake is a great play, especially in DFS because he's cheap too, because they'll be looking to get the ball out quick, and he is a passing down back. You can get the ball to him in that kind of game. I think he could be very effective in this backfield for him.
He could be.
And some other thoughts with it too. I believe that as long as Tua doesn't play and he's not expected to, the Dolphins will struggle, I think, at the quarterback position. It's hard to say how Waddle will do in this game too, because he seemed to be getting the ball a little bit last week as their number 1, 2. But I believe another receiver could potentially come back this week, but that's still kind of up in the air. They're keeping that behind the mirror, right?
Will Fuller? No, Will Fuller's in. He's playing.
Oh, yeah. So that'll kind of be interesting to see what happens with that then too.
I wanted to discuss this. Do you like these wide receivers this week, Joe, for the Dolphins?
No, I'm not even going to be playing them.
No, not at all.
No.
Even though Brissett is clearly the better quarterback than Tua, right?
I mean, clearly, availability is clearly
because Tua was going to be benched halfway through this year for Jacoby Brissett.
There's still strong potential of that when they're losing more games.
Okay. But you're not going to start the wide receivers.
No, but they may end up just benching him to protect him, though, is what I'm saying.
Now. Oh, now it's a protection thing. All right.
The Bills do very bad things to quarterbacks, so we'll see how Brissett plays in the coming weeks.
Ryan, do you got anything about this game?
Ruggs had a big game last week.
He did.
So it'll be interesting to see if that was a one-time thing or if he can establish himself as a go-to guy. Waller had a little bit of a down week, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Miami, they're ranked pretty good against tight ends, but they've played shit teams.
They
that
haven't
don't
played
have good tight
Darren
ends.
Waller.
Hey,
Right.
they paid the Patriots, didn't they? You calling your team shit?
Yes.
No, I realized after I said that they played the Patriots, so I take it back. But we also don't have Darren Waller. So
Yeah, and let me say this about Ruggs too, dude. So you were mentioning that they played some shit defenses. They have Xavier Howard on the other side too. They may end up shutting down Ruggs.
Works
With
for me.
Ruggs,
More
I just
work for
don't know
Waller.
if it's going to be like a Ruggs 1 week, Edwards the other week. Maybe you'll get a run of Ruggs, and then all of a sudden it'll be an Edwards week. I think both these wide receivers, because most of the volume is going to Waller, both these wide receivers are really hard to start until one of them really shows that they are the guy.
Ryan,
Because
do you want
week
to talk
one
about
it was
Darren?
Edwards.
Oh, yeah. What were you saying, Ryan?
And then my next thing would just be, do you guys think with Tua being out, do you see an increase in value for Gaskin at all? He's been pretty bad so far this year.
Is this
I don't.
Is this a personal question, Ryan?
He doesn't have Gaskin anymore.
Oh, that's
I
right.
don't have Gaskin.
Somebody else does.
Wait,
It's
where's
the last
Gaskin
place.
now?
Got him.
The last
Oh,
place
JJ.
team has him. I don't know who it is, but pretty
Guess
sure
you
that's where he is.
I would say I guess you shouldn't have traded away Jackson, but I'm in second to last place. So I
He
mean,
gets moved a lot around our fantasy league like Waddle.
I actually tried to move Tom Brady today so I could
Did
start
you
Justin
really?
Fields. I did. Offered to
That's
trade
wow.
my brother-in-law.
Did you get rejected?
I did. I was rejected.
Shot down for now, right until before game time. They decide that you're like, you know what? I'd really like to have Tom Brady.
We'll see.
Well, we'll see if
mean-
he flips anything over the weekend.
I tried getting Tom Brady from Ryan. So
So funny. So
You
Ryan,
declined the trade that JJ then accepted.
Did I?
That's so funny. Two varying opinions on a very polarizing podcast.
all right.
So speaking of quarterbacks, too, Ryan, we had a discussion this morning about who you should be starting too. Do you believe in Derek Carr?
I do. He's been on fire this season. I don't have his stats up right now, but I think he's thrown for like over 800 yards already.
He does.
Oh, we got to
And-
put that over the season so we can get Joe stats.
Yeah, we got to do
Times
the
that
game now.
by put
He's
that.
on pace for 6,800 plus yards.
Whew!
Yes.
Whew, him and-
QB1.
I love it.
Right now he's ranked as QB9, so he's in the top 10. So if you have him on your team, absolutely start him. And if you're in a position like me where I have Waller and Carr on my team, it makes for a pretty fun stack until that bye week.
Ryan, you building with actual brick over there or Legos, you think, for the week?
Oh my goodness, Joe, you'll never guess.
What happened?
Lamar Jackson is on pace for 17 rushing touchdowns.
I love it. Already predicted it.
No, you only predicted 16. He's way outpacing that.
No. That was Taysom Hill. Let's not clear that up.
All right, let's move on to the Bucks Rams. This is probably going to be one of the best games of the week, in my opinion.
Yes.
That high flying Bucks offense against this monstrous Rams defense, with their offense
And
also
Cooper Kupp,
just
basically.
and Cooper Kupp. Yeah.
Big
So,
old cup of something.
Do we
It's
think
the Bucs
this is
versus Cooper
the
Kupp.
week that Kupp actually gets spilled over, or what?
I hope so, because I have Woods on my fantasy team. They were a pretty good 1-2 punch for a little while there, and now it's not really a 1-2. It's all Kupp, and then Woods gets a little bit.
But Woods isn't having breakfast with Stafford, so
Yeah, that's a real problem there. Like, maybe he ate
Most
some
important meal of
Kellogg's
the
with
day.
him.
How do
That's
you
right.
measure that?
Eat some Kellogg's with your man, and maybe he'd actually throw you the ball. Although I believe we had a trade a few episodes ago that we suggested not trading Robert Woods away, and I hope that's proven wrong this week. So sorry to the listener, we don't get that right. I don't
There's
even.
still time.
He'll be
Yeah,
fine.
I think he will too.
I don't remember who the other player was though. So
It's scouted now. That everyone's onto it now. You know, Kupp's been so heavily targeted, and Higbee had one target last. It's going to change. The Bucks are going to be onto it, and I think you'll see Woods more involved this week.
I believe you're right. So also with Brown being out, which one of the receivers is going to get the extra little bit of work this week? Usually it's the 3 out of 4 are going to do well here, whether that be Gronk or one of the wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys think that Godwin or Evans is going to do better this week?
Who is Jalen Ramsey not covering?
He's
That's true, too.
He's not playing that role anymore. He's in this. They call it the star role, and he just pretty much roams all around the defense. And he's almost like a safety now. He's in the box a lot of the time, and he makes plays in the run game. So he's kind of guards everyone. So
that's interesting. I didn't even know that about him right now.
Neither did I.
So he's kind of taking the Jamal Adams approach,
Exactly.
except he can actually get interceptions.
Like when he played the Bears, he guarded Robinson probably like 50% of the time. He covered Mooney, and then he was up in the box, like making tackles for losses. Last week, he got an interception versus the Colts. He's playing everywhere, and it's working really well for him.
My gut feeling is, though, he'll be focusing definitely on Cup this week, too, because he's just been absolutely electric this offseason.
They're on the same team, buddy.
I mean, oh, my God. What am I need to drink coffee.
Maybe if he
today,
goes
just-
to breakfast with Stafford, he'll be focused.
Maybe
The Rams
Maybe
the Rams are definitely going to lose
Oh.
if Ramsey's guarding Cup. They're screwed.
Feel like the Giants blocking their own players.
Oh, my God. Hey,
Why
maybe
go there?
Maybe if I had coffee during my breakfast, I wouldn't be confusing that. But anyway, what I meant to say was, we're talking about the Bucs wide receivers he's going to be covering here. If that's the case, he's not covering Cooper Kupp. Yeah, he'll be moving around the field because, Brady distributes it pretty evenly.
I think Godwin will probably be the main target guy. Gronk doesn't get a lot of targets. He just gets a lot of touchdowns. That's what makes him fantasy relevant. And kind of the same thing with Mike Evans, really. I mean, they're both the touchdown guys, but Godwin's going to be the chain mover.
I do think that, but I actually think Mike Evans is going to get a lot of targets in the red zone this week because he's tall and Ramsey's pretty short. And those corners are he's shorter than everyone else on that Bucs team. He's shorter than Gronk. Go ahead, JJ. You're going to correct me here.
Okay, everyone's shorter than
He's
Gronk.
one of the biggest corners in the NFL. I think he's like 6'2", like 210. He matched up really well with Evans.
Let's move on. I'm not doing good on this topic.
All right, moving on. We'll move on to the Seahawks and Vikings. We'll give Joe a fresh start here. Fresh start. Call them the Febreze boys.
Yeah.
Seahawks, Vikes. Seahawks have been electric this year. Vikes have been okay.
I'm just going to mute myself.
I almost put you in timeout after you said that Ramsey was a shorter cornerback. All right, so for the Seahawks and the Vikings, I don't think you're starting anybody that's, considered under the radar. You're going to be starting Metcalf. You're going to be starting Lockett. Russell Wilson, I think, is a solid start. What about Kirk Cousins? Yeah?
QB 10 right now.
I believe he is going to be a good start in this game. So he's been very effective, as Ryan said, too. And the Seahawks are going to score a lot in this game, so he's going to need to throw the ball.
Joe, who unmuted your mic?
Yeah. Can't just
I
take
can
yourself
also
out
control
time.
that mic. Sure as shit can.
So where are you guys at with DK Metcalf right now? Is it too soon to say he was taken way too early in drafts? Right now he's wide receiver 33.
No, I think this will be the week he breaks out.
Yeah, I think it's too soon to say that he was a bust in regard to draft position. Tyler Lockett just has this magic trick where he's wide open 40 yards down the field.
Yeah.
No one's guarding him. Like two weeks
impressive.
in a row, he's literally been back there going, I'm open down here. There's no one within like a 20-yard area of me. This new offensive coordinator for the Seahawks, the play action pass is working astounding. Obviously, when you have Russell Wilson, that makes things look a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
This passing game that everyone kind of was worried about is actually doing really well. So,
and let me try the cornerback discussion again and actually get it right this time too. So Patrick Peterson probably will be covering DK. Tyler Lockett. I need to sleep more. This is ridiculous. I think he's going to be covering Tyler Lockett because he's been the explosive player on this offense too, and that'll open it up for DK Metcalf this week, and he's going to finally get his.
I struggle with this because on DraftKings, like in my lineups, I want to play one of these guys because one of them's going to have 100 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
But Patrick Peterson on the Cardinals just had DK Metcalf's number. He every time they played each other, he never had a big game. So I'm like, I want to play Metcalf because I think he's due. At the same time, if Peterson actually follows Metcalf and shuts him down, Lockett could just stay hot. So that's one of my biggest question marks of the week, especially in DFS.
Yeah. Speaking of wide receivers staying hot, KJ Osborne's been good for 2 weeks too. And we're going to ask the damn question again. Is this offense going to continue to establish 3 wide receivers? Because I think KJ Osborne is going to stay hot in on this offense.
He's about due for a 21-yard game, so Joe stops talking about him.
I don't think it's going to be this game, and that's why I'm starting him this week.
What is his stats on the year?
Who are you starting him over, Joe?
Well, Brown went on my COVID list, so I'm starting him over Waddle.
Ooh.
Over Waddle with MVP Jacoby Brissett at quarterback?
Absolutely over MVP Jacoby Brissett at quarterback.
I'd probably play Waddle.
KJ Osborne right now is wide receiver 21. Put up
He's good.
14.6 points week 1, 20.1 points week 2, 9 targets week 1, 6 targets week 2. So that's pretty much
he's getting the volume. I mean, it could be a good play.
Yeah, and Ron, if you really wanted to get into quarterback discussions, I can start bringing up Jalen Hurts every single week like I was before. If you want to start throwing the MVP of the Miami team there at my face.
Why?
We do have to do.
Because you said he can't pass the ball, and obviously he can.
I wouldn't get into a quarterback discussion with Ron because whatever he says is going to count.
I will win. I will win.
We all
As
made fun
of
of
this
him.
moment, I will win that discussion.
You haven't been able to comment on that. Would you like to get to that
Nope.
after we get the rest of this game out? Or do you want to get to it now?
We'll get to it a little bit.
Okay, so what about these other receivers for the Vikings then?
Honestly, you have to play them. First
I
off,
think
they're probably going to, they're going to, the Seahawks are going to put up enough points to make this a competitive game.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to pass to stay in the game. And with Dalvin Cook even banged up a little bit, I feel like they try to pass the ball a little bit more just to make sure he doesn't get more hurt. They'll bring in Alexander Madison to try to keep Dalvin Cook healthy, which they're not going to be as apt to pass to Madison as they would.
Yeah, I
Cook.
love that you just said that because I think what they're going to do with him this week is get Dalvin Cook the ball in the passing game as opposed to rushing him up the middle, like you were just saying there. So I think Alexander Madison will be involved a little bit. I don't think he's an emergency flex play, though. He'll get a few carries there to take it away from Cook, but Cook will get a lot of his work in the passing game. I still think he'll get his this week, though.
Yeah, I think you have to start pretty much everybody that you would normally start off of both of these teams. Neither defense has been playing great yet.
Mm-hmm.
Vikings defense definitely looked better this past week than it did week 1.
The tight ends don't look good on either one of these teams, though. I wouldn't.
I said it looked better, JJ. I didn't say it looked great. Shake your head at me.
He's still fixing his shit over there.
Kyler Murray tore him apart.
Looked better than week 1, though, against who they play week 1?
Dude,
Cincinnati.
Murray threw 400 yards against him. It wasn't any
Burrow
better.
threw 250.
What the hell are you talking about, quarterback expert?
400.
Look at. They looked better. I mean, they were still in the game. Like it was.
Yeah, not because of the defense.
It was a better showing.
Not because of the defense.
All right. Anything else about the Seahawks and Vikings?
Yes. Which quarterback's going to have a better week? Because this is going to be competitive, I think, between both of them.
Russell Wilson.
I do think so, too. Russell Wilson will have the better week.
All right. And now we will get into our wild card games. Joe, go ahead and go first.
All right. So the game I went with was one a lot of people aren't going to cover on a lot of other shows, too. So I went with the Ravens-Lions because I think there is actually a lot of interesting players in this game. Quintez Cephus, I believe I'm saying his name right, looked very interesting on Monday night, and I think he's going to be a good play here for the reason I think the Ravens are going to shut down the run game for the Lions, and they're going to need to pass the ball here, and Cephus is pretty explosive at the wide receiver position. They need to give it to someone, so I think he's going to potentially have a pretty good week. Another question here is who's going to get the red zone targets between Tyson Williams and Latavius Murray? My gut's telling me Tyson Williams will actually get the work this week. I think he's better fit to play against this Lions front seven. And I also wanted to question whether Marquis Brown is going to continue his hot streak because he's been having a very good season and he's been known as a flash in the pan kind of player. I think that consistency is going to continue this week because the Lions are lacking at the corner position. He's shown it. Yeah, they're very bad at the position. So I think he's a very good play this week. And thank God I got him for $2 because I needed to play him because JJ now has Allen Robinson for me.
I do know that I'm pretty sure Hollywood Brown has been on the injury report. I don't think it's been anything serious.
He was last week though too.
Okay. If you go back and you look at like the last 4 to 6 games at the end of last season with Hollywood, he actually was pretty decent those weeks too. Like the bulk of his season was very bad last year, but the offense in general was very bad for the bulk of the season last year for the Ravens.
You're correct. The bulk was bad, but he was good the last 6 weeks. So that is continuing since that point.
Right. So I do feel like that something has clicked with him and Lamar, and he's getting better at running routes, finding the open hole in zones and everything and staying there instead of just keep running. So I do believe it continues. I think he'll finish the year as a solid wide receiver too. Another thing
that's good for me.
Another thing I take away from this game is the Ravens defense. Darren Waller had 19 targets against them week 1. 19. And most of those targets were because he was just open. It wasn't like Derek Carr was just force feeding the ball. He was just open. And I believe TJ Hawkinson is pretty damn close to the athletic as Darren Waller. Like they're not far off. And Hawkinson could have a very solid year or very solid game.
He might be the tight end 3 at the end of the season.
How can you guys doubt Hawkinson
3
right now?
No, he's absolutely the tight end 3. But Waller's more athletic.
I'm not putting him above Waller. I'm just saying he's athletic.
Yeah, to be fair, Ron Waller might finish as the 1 this season. About the rate he's going, he's playing great.
I believe I said that I had a hard time I had to adjust things to put him under Kelsey in my tight end ratings.
You called that pretty well because I was lower on Waller. He's proven me wrong. Ryan, you want to talk about your boy at all?
I will point out that currently Hawkinson is the number 3 tight end and Waller is the number 4 tight end.
Who's number 2?
Gronk.
Gronk.
Gronk. Number 1 is Kelsey.
Let me ask him.
And then we got Fant in number 5.
Ooh,
dude, that is an ugly number 5.
Yeah,
are we getting some tight end discussion on this show? Wow.
No, we're done now. All right, Ryan, why don't you go with your wild card game?
Hold on, let me ask one question about that game before we do it. Is this a week for Sammy Watkins?
No.
Moving on.
Has it ever been a week for Sammy Watkins?
Oh, JJ hasn't thought about it.
No, I don't know. I like Hollywood Brown too. And their corners are both hurt, and I don't know. I can see a situation when they just break off like 3 70-yard runs and get like a defensive touchdown, and like the passing volume is limited.
Yeah,
but
I want to say this:
one of them's going to catch a bomb this week.
This should be a blowout game from the get-go. But 2, those Lions are scrappy.
Ask the 49ers.
Ask the Packers for the first half of last week's game.
No, oddly enough, we thought they were just going to be an absolute dumpster fire. I think they're going to lose a ton of games. They're going to lose a ton of games, but they're going to keep a lot of these ones close, which is unbelievable. I did not like their head coach going in this Motor City. Dan Campbell did not appeal to me, but I'm kind of a fan of him now.
The second half of last week was not close at all.
No.
That was just Aaron Rodgers be going, "Oh, I'm MVP, by the way." Just
no, it's because Motor City dipshit didn't kick a field goal and then change the whole momentum of the game. And then it was all downhill. So Lions suck.
All right, moving on.
Motor dipshit.
Ryan, go ahead with yours.
All right, to everyone's surprise, I'm going to go with the Patriots New Orleans Saints game. There's a lot of fantasy questions here. I think Kamara right now has a lot of fantasy managers nervous, such as JJ, who dished him off pretty quickly. So it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back. Right now he's running back 19, which is very low for him. Another player I'd like to point out for people like Joe who stream their tight ends from week to week is a currently ranked number 7 tight end, Juwan Johnson from the Saints, who's currently rostered 27% at Yahoo and 11% at ESPN.
Are you trying to help me out over there? That's kind of rude. No, it's okay. I'll be
available.
Yes. He's probably available in most leagues right now, but I'm going to roll with Jared. Good. Thank you.
As far as Patriots wide receivers, I don't trust any of them. I do like White and Harris both. I think they're both viable starters in your lineup. And then the Saints, I don't like any of them either. Their top wide receiver in fantasy points right now is Harris at wide receiver 51.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you chose this game.
Why?
You all picked the New England Patriots to win this.
Sure
right?
Shit did.
Yeah.
They lost to the Miami Dolphins week 1. Now you guys are all hot and bothered because, they beat the New York Jets.
Really, Giants
wow.
fan? Yeah.
What
start on that.
You're
an effing Giants fan. I don't want to hear it.
I like Belichick at home versus Jameis Winston.
I sure do too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of
and
interceptions.
that Miami game came down to a red zone fumble.
Okay, so you barely lost to the Miami Dolphins.
10-win team last year now, and they have
they were a playoff team last year.
Yeah, relax. All right, let's get back to the fantasy relevant
with
points
a
before we get on a
his
tangent.
You guys, the New Orleans Saints were a playoff team last year.
I would like the one viewer on here to actually watch this. So get back to the fantasy relevant point of this, guys. So anyway, on to these wide receivers. You said you don't think they're going to be very relevant, Ryan. What about the tight ends?
No. I mean, Juwan Johnson, if you're in tight end trouble, top 10 tight end right now. Jump on the train now.
Juwan Johnson.
I believe I have him in our dynasty league. I picked him up.
He's a top 10.
Well, I also have Darren Waller, so he can just ride my bench.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ron wishes he was riding something else, but that's nice.
Wow.
Wow.
You've been rude to me all episode. You kind of were not that.
I mean, you've been rude to yourself. You've been misdoing a lot of stuff today.
I don't want to hear it.
This is live. He can't even edit it out.
I wouldn't anyways. That's great content right there, Ryan.
That's true.
You just stay over in your corner in your dimly lit room.
I don't know why it's so dim.
I don't think anyone actually knows what Ryan looks like. That
I know.
The show.
It's so
definitely not
dark. We should
I'm
just
in witness protection.
Dark like the outcast of our show. Do you know some viewers go up whenever we get off on a tangent and just start talking shit? So hey, we just got another one. That's great.
We should change my voice to that anonymous voice they use for like the crime shows.
All the mafia shows.
How about the news update guy? That's the one we'll do it to.
Oh man, that's great. All right, JJ, get into your wild card.
Yeah, I picked the Bears game, obviously, and I know obviously it's a homer pick, but it has one of the most interesting stories of the week with Justin Fields making his first career start against the Browns, who are pretty banged up. So I think there's some fantasy relevance here on the Bears side of the ball. Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, Fields. It's interesting. I don't know where people are going to have him ranked or if they have the guts to play him over certain quarterbacks, but
I know you're going to have the guts.
I don't have him starting in any leagues right now because I have one league where I'm contemplating it because Josh Allen's playing Washington.
Let's wait till you get the butterflies Sunday morning and then he's starting in 3 of your leagues.
Yeah, maybe I'll start him over, I don't even know, Tom Brady. Never know.
No.
Sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah. But Browns are pretty banged up in this game.
They are.
Jarvis Landry went on IR. But so I think you'll see a heavy dose of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And OBJ, like I said, is potentially probably making his season debut. What do you guys think about this game?
3 catches, like 30 yards. I don't think he's going to be very involved. They'll try to ease him back into it.
I think they're going to try to ease him back into it, but if Jarvis Landry isn't playing or is playing hobbled, they might not have
on
a
IR.
choice.
He's definitely not
Oh,
playing.
he's on IR?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, then Odell could be in for a big game. It's going to be one or the other. He'll have 3 for 20 yards or 4 for 90 and a touchdown because I think that's just who he is now.
I don't think we get the OBJ of old this week. He might have a random game or two this season that we get it, but I just don't see him having a good season, which is why I traded him away after bringing up his price in our auction draft, which I highly regretted. But then again, I'm glad he's not on my team.
All right, I will get into my wild card game. I am also a homer. I'm going to pick the Giants at home against Atlanta.
All right, go on your Daniel Jones rant.
Look, you mean Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, the number 4 overall fantasy quarterback on the year? Is that the Daniel Jones we're talking about? The Daniel Jones the Daniel Jones that's going against the 32nd ranked defense in the league this week. That Daniel Jones.
Yeah, that Daniel Jones.
And I do want to say one thing, like sincerely. Last game against the Washington football team that they should have won. He probably played the best football of his entire career that day.
So did Taylor Heineke.
He was very good, very on point, and they need to run more of this RPO option because he's fast. And you've seen this offense open up when they were doing that. His passing game got better because his receivers were more open due to people just not, people worried about him running, worried about everything else other than where the receivers were. And like I said, Atlanta has a 32nd ranked defense. I think this could be a very good first win for the Giants on the year.
All right, Ron, you're predicting a win. Which one of these receivers is actually going to get the work then?
Sterling Shepard.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
No one else will be fantasy relevant.
What about Saquon? Is this going to be a breakout game?
Interesting.
So for week 1, he only had 47 or 38% of the running back work. They really did. I don't want to say shelve him, but they monitored him. Last week was 80 something percent. I do think that they fully open him up this week. He's got to get more involved in the passing game. Hopefully this offensive line can open up a little bit more. But again, when Daniel Jones started doing the RPOs and they started running, the offensive line was performing better after that because the defensive line wasn't rushing as hard because they got burnt by Daniel Jones like 4 times. So again, that RPO, I think that's really going to open up our offense and we could look like a completely different team. And with our defense playing the way it is, which is still relatively good. Again, I'm not going to say they're like top 10 or anything, but they are a good defense.
Okay, Ron, does he finish in the top 7 of quarterbacks this week?
This week?
Yes, this week.
Top 7? Yes. Yeah.
God, I hope you
can
play him in DFS. I hope you do.
You did. Look at that face.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what his lineup now.
Let's roll right into it.
No. We still got to talk about Atlanta. There is some relevant players on this. So before you jump the gun on it, I know you're excited to talk about Daniel Jones, Marvel. Let's talk about it. How is Kyle Pitts going to look in this game?
Average like he has the last 2 games.
He's getting in this week, I think.
I do too. I think he's going to get in. I think you're going to see him that 6 or 7 range again for tight ends. So, yeah, average. I think he'll do fine. I also believe that there's another wide receiver on Atlanta that's due to Calvin Ridley. I think he's going to have a big week, regardless of win or loss. And, Ron, I picked the Giants to win this game, so you are going to get your first win this week.
Yay. If Joe picked it. It must be true. I mean, he's not at the bottom of the list.
I wasn't last year. Don't worry. There's plenty of time here. We're only 4 games behind.
I'm just hoping
not like
last
15 like you were last year.
I'm just hoping last year's superstition isn't true this year, where every time Ron picks the Bears to win, they lose.
I mean, it could be. We'll find out.
Did you guys have any big upsets though on your?
Maybe
picks?
it was. I thought I had one.
I picked Washington over the Bills. I think that was a good pick. I think they match up very well in the trenches against them.
I think Washington just allowed Daniel Jones to run for almost 100 yards on him. So I think Josh Allen will be fine and win this game.
I think the Bills are going to keep trying to establish a run, though. I think they're going to come in with a bad game plan. I think they're going to surprise him. We'll see.
I don't think the Washington defense is anything what anybody thought it was going to be this year.
Well, time to rise to the occasion then, because I predicted them. Yeah, not yet. That's what I'm saying. We'll see. What about you guys?
I picked the Rams over the Bucks this week. So
I don't know if that'd really be an upset, though. The Rams are fucking good, dude. Like, I was very close to picking them, too.
The only thing that
Tom Brady's just been too good.
The only thing I can consider really an upset is just the one that I went different from all you, where I picked the Saints over New England, but I wouldn't really call it an upset.
I would call it an upset.
Patriots are 3-point favorites, so technically.
Yeah, technically. Ryan, anything surprising, or did you go vanilla this week?
No, pretty vanilla, except I picked even the Patriots were the favorites. So
not picking the Lions this week, Ryan?
No.
Pick the Lions.
I tell you what, at the end of the second quarter, I was feeling pretty good.
So is that guy that put out the bet for $25 and almost won $737,000 for exact, and then lost at the end of the game.
So here's a story about that game for me. I have Devontae Adams in a couple leagues. One of my leagues, I needed him to score like 24, 27 points to get me the win. Mm-hmm. And then I was playing against him in another league, and that guy needed like 34 points to beat me. So it was a real roller coaster of emotions with me and Devontae Adams, but he performed perfectly to get me the win in both leagues. So
he must have known.
Go Devontae Adams.
He knew you needed the points. All right, let's get into DFS, dude.
Not going to lie, I almost forgot we had a button for that.
All right, you want to talk about Daniel Jones more, so go ahead with your lineup.
I do. In my lineup, I started Daniel Jones, the number 4 fantasy quarterback, against the 32nd ranked defense.
I hope you spent the rest of that money more wisely then.
He was only 5,800. Like, frees me up. So I went with a very balanced approach. So I like to stack my quarterback with one of his wide receivers. So I took Sterling Shepard. I did go Stephon Diggs, Marvin Jones to round out my 3 wide receivers.
Okay.
My running backs are Austin Eckler. I think it's going to be a shootout. He could get 7-8 catches. I mean, honestly. I went Jonathan Taylor. Yes, even if Carson Wentz plays, I think they're going to really focus on running that ball and really hope that they can just run again. And Tennessee doesn't have the best defense right now, so he can definitely get ran on. For my flex, I have AJ Green because I was running out of money, but
that might be okay if Hopkins is hurt. That might be okay for you.
And he's also had 3 red zone targets in the first 2 weeks, so he could. All I need him to do is get me a touchdown, and I'll be happy in my flex position. My tight end is Tyler Higbee. This is going to be a shootout. I think he can go wild. And I picked the Raiders defense against Miami and MVP Jacoby Brissett.
The one pick, just call this a feeling. It's not anything that's really scholarly about it. Jonathan Taylor, I got a weird feeling that Nyheim Hines is going to be very active in this game because I think it's going to be high scoring. So I think he'll be getting a lot of passing work in this game. And plus they'll want to get the ball away from their injured quarterback. So I think you'll see a lot of Nyheim Hines this week.
Well, as long as it's a lot like week 1 where they both had like 6 catches, I'm fine with that.
I'd counter and say they're going to want to pound Jonathan Taylor. So they're whatever shitty quarterback's in there, hobbled Wentz.
I can honestly see both situations because they could first half pound Jonathan Taylor, it not really work all that well, and then be down. And then the second half, Nyheim Hines comes in to get all the passing network. But,
Which would add up to struggles for you in your DFS lineup if that happens.
Right. Not to mention, though, if, sure, Wentz is going to play, but if he gets hit good once and is like, all right, I need to rest, they're going to bring in someone else. It's only week 3. They'd be stupid to risk him getting injured more.
I agree with that. Who wants to go next?
Let's let Ryan go since he got snubbed last week.
I do like that. Ryan,
Yeah.
what's your lineup?
The winner of last week.
What was that, Ron? Something about shut up?
No, I said maybe he should have been on the show.
Hard to say for someone who hasn't been on the last 2.
Oh my goodness, I was working.
like we don't have jobs or something.
I work nights.
All right, let's let Ryan talk.
Okay, so I went with, as I mentioned earlier today, that I thought he would have a good game. Derek Carr at quarterback. Like Ron, I took Austin Eckler in my running back spot.
Smart move.
Then I went cheaper option. I took James White for my second running back.
I like that, actually.
I don't think that's a bad move at all. Then I went Rondale Moore for my wide receiver. Sterling Shepard for my second wide receiver. Jamar Chase for my third wide receiver with the Higgins injury. Thought he might be getting a little bit more work.
Damn, I like this lineup.
To add with Derek Carr, I took Darren Waller at tight end.
Waller.
Then I took Marquis Brown in my flex spot.
Shit, man, I like
He's
this
been
lineup.
kind of on a roll. And then I was broke, so I took the Washington defense.
Yep. I really like that lineup. I love Rondale Moore being picked. He's in my lineup too. So you highlighted a lot of good things. And I think James White is a good sneaky pick. That's not going to be a lot of DFS lineups too.
Clears up a lot of money for other stuff too.
It's going to be great. I just decided that I'm going to take each one of your lineups and put them in a matchup. And if I win money off any of your lineups, I'm going to laugh at you.
Okay, we're happy for you.
Okay.
Sorry, I just thought it was funny.
Are you going to use those winnings to pay JJ for the Dynasty League?
Well, I've already paid JJ. My payment.
I'm just collecting all the league fees for him.
Right. I'm just look. Why am I going to give him the money that he's eventually just going to have to give back to me when I win Dynasty?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, bud.
2-0, baby.
He's going to be coming. He's going to be coming up to the Northeast and shaking you down soon. That's all I'm going to be saying.
No, please come up. It'd be a lot easier on me to just hand you the cash.
So funny.
All right, JJ, get into your lineup.
Salad S lineup.
All right. So at quarterback, I went with the cheap option.
Justin Fields.
$5,200. Rushing ability. It's a real bargain this week. I don't think you'll see him that cheap again, so I'm capitalizing on it when you get the chance. Cleveland has given up almost the most fantasy points for his quarterbacks so far this year. They're 21st in total defense against the pass, so they can be had there. Running back, I kind of went cheaper. I didn't like a lot of the expensive guys this week, so I went with Chase Edmonds at Jacksonville. Obviously, a really good matchup. Their defense has been torched by everyone and everything, so I think he gets loose for at least a touchdown this week. I played Tyson Williams at my RB2 spot at Detroit. I think they'll run at will on them. Saw Aaron Jones destroy them last week. So I think the Ravens can get up big and then let the undrafted rookie finish them off there. And then I really spent on receiver. So my 3 wide receivers are Keenan Allen versus the Chiefs. I think it's a shootout. And then I stacked Justin Jefferson and Tyler Lockett on with each other. I'm flip-flopping back and forth between Metcalf and Lockett. Like I said, I can't decide which one I want to play, but right now I have Lockett in.
Are they both about the same price?
Yeah, I think Lockett's $7,400 and Metcalf's $7,300. So it's literally
you really can flip-flop it.
It's so hard, yeah.
And at tight end, I went with a hot hand, Ryan's boy TJ Hawkinson. He's surpassed 20.
Hercules.
Hey.
He's surpassed 20 points both weeks, and typically, like, the top 3 tight ends are usually around 7,000. So he's only at 5,200 this week. So I thought that was a really good price on him. And then in the flex, I have Darnell Mooney stacked with Fields. Mooney's targets are equivalent to Allen Robinson's, but he's 2,000 cheaper. And the Browns have been beat by the deep ball, particularly this season, and that's Mooney's game. So, and to round things out, my defense, I went with the Titans. They're either going to face a banged-up Carson Wentz or some combination of Jacob Eason and Brent Huntley, and that just screams turnovers at home in a game they need. So I got the Titans, who are only 2,400 this week, in a good matchup.
I like your powerful stack of wide receivers there and what you did there, because you picked running backs that are lower priced going up against really bad defenses. I really like the Tyson Williams pick there too, because it was also someone I flip-flopped with that I'm going to be doing. I'll go over that in my lineup though too. But yeah, good lineup. I really like everything in your lineup.
Thanks.
All right, go ahead, Joe.
All right, so for my lineup, I call this the hot hand lineup because I'm going with no commodities that we see going into the season. So I'm going with Tom Brady at 6,800. He's got 11 touchdowns in 2 weeks. He's just going to have a great week, I think, again, in another shootout, even against this hard defense. He's got the experience to play against very hard defenses. Derrick Henry, he was getting passing work last week, so at 8,600, I'm going with Derrick Henry too. He could be in for another hot week, and he could continue that throughout the season. I think he's going to have a very good week. Then I went with Mr. Revenge, Kenyan Drake. He's going against his former team, Miami. I got that right this time at 5,500. But this is the one I'm going to monitor and might throw Tyson Williams in instead. It depends on if Jacobs is in that game. If Jacobs is in that game, Tyson Williams is going into that role. But for now, Drake is going to get that work because he got 70% of the work in that backfield last week. Next, Tyreek Hill at 8,400. Absolutely going to be a barn burner. I'm hoping he gets the hot hand again this week. So, yeah, firepower. 8,400. I'm going with someone else who I think could be potential firepower based on the DeAndre Hopkins injury. Rondell Moore at 5,000. He's a cheaper option. Have to go a little bit cheaper there. I really believe in KJ Osborne. He's only 3,500. He is really cheap here. I'm throwing my eggs in that basket because I need a cheap option because I'm going very expensive and top heavy this week. Jared Cook, 3,900. I believe he'll get in the end zone. Could be a decent play this week. Then I'm going with Cortland Sutton. 6,000. He was the clear number one, and he's going up against the Jets this week, which are young in the secondary. They're way overachieving, actually playing well, but it doesn't matter. They're going to hyper target him. I think he's going to play very well like he did last week. Plus, he scored very well in DFS, like everyone in my lineup did last week. And because I have no money left, I went with the Bengals defense because Big Ben's a little bit old, might have a little bit of a weird week, kind of did in week 1. So Bengals defense, they play him tough. So let's go with that.
Not bad, not bad.
You and that
Like
KJ Osborne, Joe. You and
I believe
you can't get enough.
No, you're right, and I'm rounding him out for this week. So I mean, he's either going to be really good for me or bust.
I will say this: at least KJ Osborne has actually done something, unlike Ryan's love for KJ Hamler last week or last year. I mean, who did absolutely nothing aside from one game. Like,
hey, okay, you can't say absolutely nothing except for that's something, Ron. That is something.
That is something.
That is something very minor in what was a 16-game season.
But it's not nothing. But that's what we have to remember.
He's still got time. It's only his second year, too. So we haven't seen the last of KJ Hamler yet.
Give the guy a break.
All right. Is it time for defensive dominators and to get out of here after that?
It sure is. All right, my defensive dominator for the week is the Raiders taking on Miami. No Tua, going to be a backup quarterback in there. I don't believe Brissett is going to be MVP like Joe does. So I think the Raiders defense could have a very good week.
How the hell do you keep saying I think he's going to be MVP? I said Justin Herbert. My God. Anyway, my defensive dominator.
Because you said that he was that Tua was going to get benched for him.
Well, it might have in my injury, so technically I might be right. But
no, you specified
by a technicality. Anyway, so I still win. Specified. Anyway, I don't give a shit. Anyway, my defensive dominator of the week. I'm going with the Cardinals defense going up against a rookie quarterback for Jacksonville. Chandler Jones had an insane amount of sacks in week 1. He got pressured last week too. And I think he's going to be up in his face again too, because Jacksonville's offensive line is not playing well. So I think they're going to make him play a lot of mistakes this week and look for him to throw more interceptions. So the Cardinals are going to look very good on defense and are available in some leagues. So potentially look to pick them up.
I like it. After week 1, Chandler Jones was on pace for 85 sacks on the year. So
yes, I love it. Love it.
Just absolutely smashing the record.
Just math with me. It'll be okay.
Yeah. JJ?
Yeah, sorry, Joe, but I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos defense.
Oh, God.
And the Jets, it just seems like an easy pick. 4 interceptions from Wilson, looking a little lost out there. I know Vic Fangio, he was the coordinator for the Bears for years, and he's a really smart guy, and he's going to know how to confuse Zach Wilson again. So I think it's another ugly Sunday for the Jets.
Is Zach Wilson going to be out there seeing ghosts?
I don't think so.
No?
I'm going to say 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions this week.
That's very fair numbers. I like it.
I'm being modest.
I'm just saying Daniel Jones hasn't thrown an interception all year yet, but that's fine. Ryan, go ahead with your
His problems was never interceptions. It was fumbles.
Yeah.
He's had a couple.
My only other thing is I wonder if the Jets gave Zach Wilson a color blindness test.
Well, no, they might have given him the color ban like Mark Sanchez had as a rookie, where they'll be like, all right, you're going to do this play, do this play, do this play.
Because he was thrown to the wrong jerseys there. I actually took Carolina's defense here. Houston sucks. They don't have Tyrod Taylor.
Just leave it at that. Houston sucks.
Houston just sucks.
General Mills will be playing in about 20 minutes here. So
better than the Jaguars, but
fair.
Houston sucks.
Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Tyrod Taylor's out, going against General Mills. I mean, and the defense is pretty good anyway, let alone in this situation. So I think the Panthers defense is a good pick.
We've got to remember, though, that every time Tyrod Taylor gets injured and, the next quarterback has been the franchise quarterback for the team.
Can I pick him up in Dynasty? Is he available?
Josh Allen.
He's not available. I don't know who
Justin Herbert. And there was one more.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. So
it's like that. It's like that movie way back. What was it? Where like the guy, when he'd sleep with the girl, she'd find like the love of her life.
Good Luck Chuck.
Right away.
Good Luck Chuck with Dane Cook.
So Good Luck Chuck is going to lead to a Hall of Fame career tonight.
That's Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor, poor Tyrod.
Good luck, Tyrod.
I wonder if he got rid of his doctor.
Sure, he did.
All right. Did you already turn off the ticker?
I did.
Why do you do that to me? I get so confused. Make sure you check us out, garbagetimeff.com. Leave us a voicemail. Leave us a hate mail. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. What?
There will be a MMA episode recorded tonight for UFC 266.
Good card, man.
Good lineup.
Good card.
Let's go.
Crazy good card. A lot of fights to cover. Me and Casey will be recording that tonight after the Thursday night game and have it up for you for tomorrow.
Will the shirts be staying on?
No.
They don't do video over there yet.
They could.
Make sure you check them
out
out
at that level.
Garbage Time Presents the MMA podcast. Check them out on their Insta at Garbage Time MMA. You can check us out on our Insta at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. You could go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Simplecast. What were some of the other ones you said, JJ? Podcast, Simplify, Podify.
Made a bunch of garbage up.
You just make it up, and no, we're not on that yet.
We're not on the fake planet Pandora yet.
Not yet. We'll get there.
Pretty much anywhere, though, and when I hit the little ending button, you can see all the spots. Plus, if you go to our website, which is www.garbagetimeff.com, it also shows all over there.
One more challenger for our listeners, too. We see a lot of you watch this show, like it on YouTube, because we need more likes so it works in the formula. So you watch our shit, talk shit to us, but like it, okay? Thanks.
And make sure you keep watching because we're going to be trying to put something together, maybe some sort of contest or something. Maybe we'll have something going here in the next couple weeks. We want to talk about it still. So make sure you keep watching. Make sure you keep watching, and we'll keep you informed.
Maybe we'll send you that Devin Hester jersey in the back.
Yeah, definitely the Devin Hester jersey.
It's a little tattered, but if you like our video on the jersey.
All right, and that'll be it. Make sure you check us out. I believe we're recording again on Sunday.
Yes, but that'll be posted. Yeah, and that'll be posted into Monday.
Okay, so Monday will be another show.
Recap.
Just minus the Sunday night game and the Monday night game.
No big deal.
Yeah, that's it. Peace out.